Tyson owners, hoping they've fallen in love and bought the new superstar of the track.
Beauty's definitely in the eye of the beholder, and you know, horses are a beautiful animal, and every horse you look at, you can see something to like about them.
Over the next few months, 5,000 yearlings will be auctioned at sales across the nation for close to $500 million. Starting with the glamorous Magic Millions on the Gold Coast, where the average price for 1,000 lots will be $150,000.
It's a massive industry, the thoroughbred industry worldwide, and certainly Australia is a part of that global commodity, which is the thoroughbred.
Anthony Thompson's family has owned and operated Whitten Stud for 150 years. It's always been home to some of the nation's greatest stallions. They also breed foals and have 140 ready for the sale season. 40 of those will be sold on the Gold Coast for about $7 million. A further 40 will be sold at the Inglis Classic sale in February, the first ever sale staged by the famous company at its new Warwick Farm base. The competition is fierce.
It is a beauty contest, and we want to have those horses parading and showing off their best side.
At Torryburn Stud, north of Maitland, the preparation of the yearlings is meticulous.
So they're washed, they're groomed every day. We do their feet to make sure that their hooves are nice. And yeah, it's quite a big process that goes into it.
And it begins well before a horse turns one.
We have a horse handler here who's handling the foals. So their next year's yearlings to come through, they're already going through the process of being taught how to lead and having some basic early education for next year.
Australasia's biggest bloodstock buyers are currently crawling all over the hunter, inspecting every horse, silently searching for the elusive qualities which make a champion. 4 years ago, Guy Mulcaster spotted this filly and bought her for $230,000. That filly is now the great champion Winx. Prize money, $15,600,000. Can you believe it every time she races?
No, you don't. You know, that's a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing, but, you know, now we've got to get on and try and find the next one or something that's, you know, half as good. It's pretty good for most people, isn't it?
So you're only as good as your last purchase?
That's pretty much how it is.
Trainer Peter Moody made himself famous in 2008 when he handed over $210,000 for a filly he just had to have. You bought some beauties in your time. Obviously the best was Black Caviar. What did you see in her that made you think, I've got to have this filly?
She was a big, strong girl. Natural attraction to me was she was from a family that I'd had some good success with, and like anything in life, we're drawn back to things we've had success with.
Despite unearthing a legend, his search never ends.
He's well put together. He's actually a bit longer in the hip than most Sebrings as well, sort of length of hip. Sort of, you know, that's your engine department, yeah. So
this is the engine here?
Yeah, well, that's the pushing power to a degree. And you get some horses and breeds of horses can be a bit short in the hip and that, but he's got a good, strong hind quarter on him and nice deep girth, good shoulder, angle of shoulder, front legs will, you know, the steering wheel basically. So you want good tread on the tyres.
Neil Breen, NBN News.
Coming up in sport, how Steve Smith's injury will affect his performance in the Boxing Day Test.
It's training highways end of the Amadas and they're smashing prices store wide while stocks last. This Samsung 55-inch UHD Smart TV smashed 500 off, now under $1,000. That's nuts! Plus get a huge 20% off Blu-ray, DVD, CDs and vinyl. JB, you've done it again.
Paddington is back in a brand new adventure.
Stop! Freeze!
This year,
He's a master of disguise.
it'll take a bear
Where do you think you're going, Bear?
to catch a thief.
Well, rich again. We've got a little foolproof plan.
Take a seat. Paddington 2. In cinemas now.
That's not a Boxing Day sale. This is a Boxing Day sale at OMF, Australia's fastest growing mattress store. For 6 days only, save a minimum of $500 up to $3,000 on a huge selection of mattresses. Plus, get up to 50 months interest free on purchases over $1,000. That's right, save between $500 and $3,000 and get up to 50 months interest free. The OMF Big Boxing Day sale for 6 days only in Sunday at OMF.
Everybody ready?
Here we go. Showtime. Nominated for 3 Golden Globes.
Is this real?
has a nice ring to it. The Greatest Showman hates the film that will make everyone stand up and cheer. It's just the beginning. It's a feel-good masterpiece. They come to see you, your crazy ideas, and the most inspirational movie of the year.
No one ever made a difference by being like everyone else.
The Greatest Showman in cinemas Boxing Day.
Solar rebates reduce in January, so lock in your rebate with 18 Tier 1 premium panels and Wi-Fi inverter for an unbeatable $43.91 from Sunboost. You must act by December 31 and to lock in your rebate, call 1300 Sunboost now.
Says here you could die.
Pop these on it, dear. Go gluten-free. It'll change your life.
Cut it off, Daddy.
Try prunes.
And the milk of a goat.
You'll be right.
No cure.
When it comes to health, not everyone's an expert. But at Amcal, there's always a professional pharmacist available to help with everything from heart health checks to medicine reviews. So, for expert advice you can trust, just ask Amcal.
Bone camping fishing, SBCF and fun. Bone camping fishing, SBCF and fun.
Say see ya, Santa, and hello to the BCFing Boxing Day sale. Club members get a massive 30% off all wide kayaks, 30% off selected marine electronics, and 25% off all PFDs. Not too shabby.
It's bone camping fishing, it's BCF and fun.
BCF and fun.
Tonight's sport update brought to you by Red Rooster's new luscious saucy wings. Winner, winner.
Australian skipper Steve Smith has conceded his hand injury could change the way he bats in the Boxing Day test. But even after wrapping up the Ashes, Smith is determined to ensure there'll be no respite for England.
They might be celebrating Christmas with their loved ones, but for our cricketers, this is just as much Boxing Day Eve. As such, Steve Smith has maintained his meticulous preparation.
Just because it's Christmas, it's no different with me. I've still got to work, and we've got a big job ahead of us tomorrow.
It was barely 8 o'clock when the skipper hit the nets, batting for almost an hour on his own. A day after hurting his hand, he admits he's still ginger.
You know, I might be restricted with a few shots that I play, and it might be a little bit painful, but I'll deal with that and just keep moving forward.
Today's optional session also provided the chance for a bit of family time, with Sean Marsh handing out a few hints to son Austin. But despite the calm in the Australian camp, there's no complacency.
It's great to have that earn back, but for us, we want to keep winning games of cricket. I think winning can become a habit, and we want to keep staying in that winning habit. So, yeah, it's an important week for us.
Amid a promise of another barrage of short-pitched bowling on what's expected to be a flat MCG wicket, Smith remained coy on whether Pat Cummins or Jackson Bird will get the new ball in the absence of Mitch Starc.
We'll wait and see tomorrow. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, great opportunity for Jackson. He's worked very hard.
Smith labelling Jimmy Anderson's claims of a lack of depth in Australia's bowling stocks as rubbish, while for his counterpart the talk is almost a moot point.
I think it was probably taken slightly out of context. I think it's pretty irrelevant really because we are 3-0 down.